Mighty and erect is this will of mine, this pyramid of fire whose summit is lost in heaven. Upon it have I burned the corpse of my desires. Mighty and erect is this phallus of my will. The seed thereof is that which I have borne within me from eternity. And it is lost within the body of Our Lady of the Stars. I am not I. I am but an hollow tube to bring down fire from heaven. Mighty and marvelous is this weakness. This heaven withdraweth me into her womb. This dome which hideth, which absorbeth me. This is the night wherein I am lost. The love through which I am no longer I.
Merry Solstice, everyone. Welcome to Horizon Lodge's celebration of the ritual of the element of Earth. We are still celebrating these online, and we probably will for maybe the next couple months. We are still in the middle of COVID times. As somebody pointed out, we're just at the beginning of the Omicron variant, which would be the letter of the path that we're going to be invoking tonight. So, fun coincidence. But Horizon Lodge is still meeting in Seattle, Washington, in our lodge space once a month for Gnostic Mass. So if you would like to attend that, please reach out to us and we will get you that information. We do have a temple space in Lower Queen Anne. All of the money we collect basically goes to funding that space. So if it be your will, there is a donation link below in the description for this page. So please feel free to give us a donation. Much appreciated. We also have another video coming on the 23rd, 2 nights from now. It will be the second annual Horizon Lodge Holiday Special, which is a fundraiser, kind of a whimsical fundraiser. So tune in for that and help us get into the black for this year. With that said, tonight we will be following our usual 231 protocol. There will be some readings related to the card, the devil, also the Path of Ayin, and the Spirit of Capricorn. Tonight we have invocations to Pan and Baphomet from 4 different people. There will be the Hymn to Pan by Sister Melissa, written by Crowley. Then we've got the Orphic hymn to Pan, a much older hymn to Pan, being read by Sibling Bodhi. Then there will be a reading of LIBER 370, which is the thelemic text related to Pan and Baphomet by Crowley, or Crowley's Class A writer, if you will, by me, your host, Scott Wilde. And we already heard a reading from the Book of Lies by Brother Jim, chapter 15, The Gun Barrel. So, after that, we will start the invocation with a live stream of the altar, which is just in the other room here. And that, for that portion, you will hear chanting and drumming. Please follow along. The chants, as always, are Brother Jim, Sibling Kate, and myself. So chant along with that. The idea is that you're staring at the sigil, you're staring at the imagery of the altar, and then we'll chant for about 11 minutes. When the chanting stops, just if you don't know how to chant, the best way to do it is just to look into your mind. Sort of just be quiet, be still, and just observe what is happening in your head. Hopefully, with all the devil and the Path of Ayin imagery and the Pan invocations, you should have something good in there related to those things. And just note those. You might see things, you might hear things, you might simply just have notions, or like I liken it to sort of an invigorated brainstorming session at the very lowest. And just write those down and take note of them and think about them over the Capricorn season for the next month. So, without further ado, I just want to, one further ado, let me give a shout out to everybody who's said hi in the chat. I see Denny had a comment earlier. He says Eopan. I don't see it here though. The Ancient One. There's KP. Catherine. Mary says 93. DR. Good to see you guys again. So, without further ado, let us get into the reading. Oh, yes, also, somebody. There is the name of the spirit tonight is an odd one. It's mostly vowels. And the way we've chosen to pronounce it is just alternating O's and A's. So it's O, A, O, A, 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 O, O, O. Then you have an Ayin for a lower back of the throat. O for us Americans is the best way to describe it. O, East. And as always, things to contemplate. The East, which ends about 5 different spirit names, could indicate a return to Kether. Crowley liked to use the Stau or the Coptic so as a reference to Kether. So it's sort of like a return to Kether. The OOO is notably present in the Liber Samic, Crowley's version of the Bornless ritual, where he translates it as Satan, thou eye, thou lust. So that 3 times. So that's another mantra you could use while you're chanting this. You could sort of think upon those words. So now I will get into the readings. Thou must have the dreadful horns of the goat. Then the Lord Kem arose, he who is holy amongst the highest, and set up his crowned staff, for to redeem the universe. See here, ATU XV, the devil, also called the Lord of the gates of matter, the child of the forces of time. This card is attributed to the letter Ayin, which means an eye. The card refers to Capricornus in the zodiac. In the wheel of the zodiac, Capricornus occupies the zenith. It is the most exalted of the signs. It is the goat leaping with lust upon the summits of the earth. In every symbol of this card, there is the allusion to the highest things and most remote. In the foreground of the card is a Himalayan goat, with an eye in the center of his forehead, representing the god Pan upon the highest and most secret mountains of the earth. The horns of the goat are spiral to represent the movement of the all-pervading energy. Note that Zoroaster defines God as having a spiral force. This creative energy is veiled in the symbol of the wand of the chief adept, crowned with the winged globe and twin serpents of Horus and Osiris. Hear me, Lord of the stars, for thee have I worshipped ever, with stains and sorrows and scars, with joyful, joyful endeavor. Hear me, O lily-white goat, crisp as a thicket of thorns, with a collar of gold for thy throat, and a scarlet bow for thy horns. The sign of Capricornus is rough, harsh, dark, even blind. The impulse to create takes no account of reason, custom, or foresight. It is divinely unscrupulous, sublimely careless of result. Thou hast no right but to do thy will. Do that, and no other shall say nay, for pure will, unassuaged of purpose, delivered from the lust of result, is every way perfect. On the tree of life, ATU XIII and ATU XV, death and the devil, are symmetrically placed. They lead from Tiphareth, the human consciousness, to the spheres in which thought, on the one hand, and bliss, on the other, are developed. Between them, ATU XIV leads similarly to the sphere which formulates existence. These three cards may therefore be summed up as a hieroglyph of the process by which idea manifests as form. This card represents creative energy in its most material form, the very act of creation. The sign is ruled by Saturn, who makes for selfhood and perpetuity. In this sign, Mars is exalted, showing in its best form the fiery, material energy of creation. In the Sefer Yetzirah, this path is known as the renovating or renewing intelligence. It is called this because it is the means by which the Blessed Holy One brings about all new things which are brought into being in his creation. The renewing intelligence, as it is also called, is a mode of consciousness and directly related to mirth, because the perception of incongruities is what actually brings forth new ideas and adaptations. An incongruity is something which does not fit. When we find a fact that does not fit with our beliefs, we are obliged to revise our theories. Unless we are the sort of green apple who prefers a comfortable lie to an uncomfortable truth. Paul Case further goes on to describe this path, or this mode of consciousness. It has been, indeed, the incongruity between man's apparent bondage to circumstance and his ineradicable intuition that somehow or other he is intended to rule nature, which has driven the race forward in those avenues of research which lead to freedom. Internally, we know that we are potential lords of creation. But here we meet a check, and there is a defeat. And so we try to explain why we are not actually as free as we feel ourselves internally to be. The symbolism of this card represents the cruder forms of man's answer to the question, what keeps me from expressing this inner freedom I feel? At the same time, this picture indicates the correct solution to the problem and points to the way which leads out of the difficulty. Further elaborating on the concept that this card represents creation in its lowest form, within the triads, Crowley assigns this path to the triad of the lingam, the yoni, and the stele, and there it represents the lingam, erect and glad, or the priest. The card represents Pangenitor, the all-begetter. It is the exalted phallus, the tree of life, as seen against a background of exquisitely tenuous, complex, and fantastic forms of madness. The divine madness of spring, already foreseen in the meditative madness of winter. for the sun turns northwards on entering this sign. The roots of the tree, at the bottom of the card, are made transparent in order to show the innumerable leapings of the sap. It is further to be remarked that the trunk of the tree pierces the heavens. About it is indicated the ring of the body of Nuit. It is also seen as a representation of the rings of Saturn, as noted before. Similarly, the shaft of the wand goes down indefinitely to the center of the earth. If I lift up mine head, I and my Nuit are one. If I droop down mine head and shoot forth venom, then is rapture of the earth, and I and the earth are one. The formula of this card is then the complete appreciation of all existing things. He rejoices in the rugged and the barren, no less than in the smooth and the fertile. All things equally exalt him. He represents the finding of ecstasy in every phenomenon, however naturally repugnant. He transcends all limitations. He is Pan. He is all. From the secret instructions of the Master, with thy right eye, create all for thyself, and with the left, accept all that be created otherwise. This process of consuming all phenomenon, including the bad, in order to comprehend the greater whole, is seen in the corresponding verse of Liber B. Let the Magus then contemplate each in turn, rising it to the ultimate power of infinity, wherein sorrow is joy, and change is stability, and selflessness is self. For the interplay of the parts hath no action upon the whole, and this contemplation shall be performed not by simple meditation, how much less then by reason, but by the method which shall have been given unto him in his initiation to the grade. It is further important to note some other correspondences. The 3 vowel consonants of the Hebrew alphabet, Aleph, Yod, Ayin. These 3 letters form the sacred name of God, E-A-O. These 3, ATU 9, 0, and 15, thus offer a threefold explanation of the male creative energy. But this card especially represents the masculine energy at its most masculine. Saturn, the ruler, is Set, the ass-headed god of the Egyptian deserts. He is the god of the south. The name refers to all gods containing these consonants, such as Shaitan or Satan. Essential to the symbolism are the surroundings. Barren places, especially high places. The cult of the mountain is an exact parallel. The Old Testament is full of attacks upon kings who celebrated worship in high places. This, although Zion itself was a mountain, this feeling persisted even to the days of the witches' Sabbath, held, if possible, on a desolate summit, but if none were available, at least in a wild spot, uncontaminated by the artfulness of men. Note that Shabbatai, the sphere of Saturn, is the Sabbath. Historically, the animus against witches pertains to the fear of Jews, whose rites, supplanted by the Christian forms of magic, had become mysterious and terrible. Panic suggested that Christian children were stolen, sacrificed, and eaten, a belief that persists to this day. And note, this was Crowley writing this, not myself, but yet a belief that persists to this day. In the Dark Ages of Christianity, this card, representing the devil, was completely misunderstood. Eliphas Levi, studied it very deeply because of its connotation with ceremonial magic, his favorite subject, and he redrew it, identifying it with Baphomet, the ass-headed idol of the Knights of the Temple. But at this time, archaeological research had not gone very far. The nature of Baphomet was not fully understood. At least, he succeeded in identifying the goat portrayed upon the card with Pan.
Thrill with lissome lust of the light, O man, my man, come careering out of the night of Pan. Io Pan, Io Pan, Io Pan, come over the sea from Sicily and from Arcady, roaming as Bacchus with fauns and pards and nymphs and satyrs for thy guards, on a milk-white ass, come over the sea to me, to me. Come with Apollo in bridal dress, shepherdess and pythoness. Come with Artemis silken shod, and wash thy white thigh, beautiful God. In the moon of the woods, on the marble mount, the dimpled dawn of the amber fount. Dip the purple of passionate prayer in the crimson shrine, the scarlet snare, the soul that startles in eyes of blue to watch thy wantonness weeping through the tangled grove, the gnarled bole of the living tree that is spirit and soul and body and brain. Come over the sea, Eopan, Eopan, devil or God, to me, my man, my man. Come with trumpets sounding shrill over the hill. Come with drums low muttering from the spring. Come with flute and come with pipe. Am I not ripe? I, who wait and writhe and wrestle with air that hath no boughs to nestle my body, weary of empty clasp, strong as a lion and sharp as an asp. Come, oh come, I am numb with the lonely lust of devildom. Thrust thy sword through the galling fetter, all devourer, all begetter. Give me the sign of the open eye, and the token erect of thorny thigh, and the word of madness and mystery. O Pan, Io Pan, Io Pan, Io Pan, 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 I am a man. Do as thou wilt, as a great God can, O Pan, Io Pan. Io Pan, Io Pan, Pan, I am awake in the grip of the snake. The eagle slashes with beak and claw, the gods withdraw. The great beasts come. Io Pan, I am born to death on the horn of the unicorn. I am Pan, Io Pan, Io Pan, 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 I am thy mate, I am thy man. Goat of thy flock, I am gold, I am God, flesh to thy bone, flower to thy rod. With hooves of steel I race on the rocks, through solstice stubborn to equinox. And I rave, and I rape, and I rip, and I rend, everlasting world without end. Mannequin, maiden, manad, man, in the might of Pan. Io Pan, Io Pan, 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 Io Pan.
I call upon Pan, the pastoral god. I call upon the universe, upon the sky, the sea, and the land, queen of all. I also call upon immortal fire. All these are Pan's realm. Come, O blessed and frolicsome one, O restless companion of the seasons, goat-limbed, reveling, lover of frenzy, Star haunting, weaver of playful song, song of cosmic harmony, you induce fantasies of dread into the minds of mortals. You delight in gushing springs, surrounded by goatherds and oxherds. You dance with the nymphs, you sharp-eyed hunter, lover of echo, present in all growth, begetter of all, many-named divinity, light-bringing lord of the cosmos, fructifying paean, cave-loving and wrathful, a veritable Zeus with horns. The earth's endless plain is supported by you, and the deep flowing water of the weariless sea yields to you. Okeanos, who girds the earth with his eddying stream, gives way to you. And so does the air we breathe, the air that kindles all life. And above us the sublime eye of the weightless fire. At your behest, all these are kept wide apart. Your providence alters the natures of all. On the boundless earth, you offer nourishment to mankind. Come, frenzy-loving, spirit-possessed, come to these sacred libations. Come and bring my life to a good end. Send your madness, O Pan, to the ends of the earth.
Gnarled oak of God, in thy branches is the lightning nested. Above thee hangs the eyeless hawk. Thou art blasted and black, supremely solitary in that heath of scrub. Up, the ruddy clouds hang over thee. It is the storm. There is a flaming gash in the sky. Up, thou art tossed about in the grip of the storm for an aeon and an aeon and an aeon. But thou givest not thy sap, thou fallest not. Only in the end shalt thou give up thy sap, when the great God Fiat is enthroned in the day of Be with us. For two things are done, and a third thing is begun. Isis and Osiris are given over to incest in adultery. Horus leaps up thrice-armed from the womb of his mother. Hippocrates, his twin, is hidden within him. Set is his holy covenant, that he shall display in the great day of Ma'at, that is being interpreted the master of the temple of Aa, whose name is Truth. Now, in this is the magical power known. It is like the oak that hardens itself and bears up against the storm. It is the weather-beaten and scarred and confident like a sea captain. Also, it straineth like a hound in the leash. It hath pride and great subtlety, yea, and glee also. Let the magus act thus in his conjuration. Let him sit and conjure. Let him draw himself together in that forcefulness. Let him rise next swollen and straining. Let him dash back the hood from his head and fix his basilisk eye upon the sigil of the demon. Then let him sway the force of him to and fro like a satyr in silence, until the word burst from his throat. Then let him not fall exhausted, although the might have been 10,000-fold the human. But that which floodeth him is the infinite mercy of the genitor genitrix of the universe, whereof he is the vessel. Nor do thou deceive thyself. It is easy to tell the live force from the dead matter. It is no easier to tell the live snake from the dead snake. Also concerning vows, be obstinate, and be not obstinate. Understand that the yielding of the yoni is one with the lengthening of the lingam. Thou art both these, and thy vow is but the rustling of the wind on Mount Meru. Now shalt thou adore me, who am the eye and the tooth, the goat of the spirit, the lord of creation. I am the eye in the triangle, the silver star that ye adore. I am Baphomet, that is the eightfold word that shall be equilibrated with the three. There is no act or passion that shall not be a hymn in mine honor. All holy things and all symbolic things shall be my sacraments. These animals are sacred unto me, the goat and the duck and the ass and the gazelle and the man, the woman and the child. All corpses are sacred unto me. They shall not be touched save in mine Eucharist. All lonely places are sacred unto me. Where one man gathereth himself together in my name, there will I leap forth in the midst of him. I am the hideous god, and who mastereth me is uglier than I. Yet I give more than Bacchus and Apollo. My gifts exceed the olive and the horse. Who worshippeth me must worship me with many rites. I am concealed with all concealments. When the most holy Ancient One is stripped and driven through the marketplace, I am still secret and apart. Whom I love, I chastise with many rods. All things are sacred to me. No thing is sacred from me, for there is no holiness where I am not. Fear not when I fall in the fury of the storm, for mine acorns are blown afar by the wind, and verily I shall rise again, and my children about me, so that we shall uplift our forest in eternity. Eternity is the storm that covereth me. I am existence, the existence that existeth not save through its own existence, that is beyond the existence of existences and rooted deeper than the no-thing tree in the land of no thing. Now, therefore, thou knowest when I am within thee, when my hood is spread over thy skull, when my might is more than the penned Indus, and resistless as the giant glacier. For as thou art before a lewd woman in thy nakedness in the bazaar, sucked up by her slyness and smiles, so art thou holy, and no more, in part before the symbol of the beloved, though it be but a pisha, or a yantra, or a deva. And in all shalt thou create the infinite bliss, and the next link of the infinite chain. This chain reaches from eternity to eternity, ever in triangles. Is not my symbol a triangle? Ever in circles. Is not the symbol of the beloved a circle? Therein is all progress base illusion, for every circle is alike, and every triangle alike. But the progress is progress, and progress is rapture, constant, dazzling showers of light, waves of dew, flames of the hair of the great goddess, flowers of the roses that are about her neck. Amen. Therefore, lift up thyself, as I am lifted up. Hold thyself in, as I am master to accomplish. At the end, be the end far distant as the stars that lie in the navel of Nuit. Do thou slay thyself, as I at the end am slain, in the death that is life, in the peace that is mother of war, in the darkness that holds light in his hand as a harlot that plucks a jewel from her nostrils. So therefore, the beginning is delight, and the end is delight, and delight is in the midst, even as the Indus is water in the cavern of the glacier, and water in the greater hills, and the lesser hills, and through the ramparts of the hills, and through the plains, and the water at the mouth thereof, when it leaps forth into the mighty sea, yea, into the mighty sea. And thou must have the dreadful horns of the goat. Then the Lord Kem arose, he who is holy amongst the highest, and set up his crowned staff for to redeem the universe. All right, everyone. If you need more time to scry, please pause the video now. For everyone else, please return to your bodies. Come down from whatever meditation you're in and become aware of your body again. Resume your normal thoughts, if it be your will. And yeah, thanks for showing up, everybody. As always, feel free to leave any comments about your experience with this video in the comment section. I always love to see those. And I hope everyone has a safe and merry solstice. I hope you're all getting your... Those of you who imbibe, get your eggnog. And I'm looking forward to seeing a number of you over the holidays. So we will return next month with Aquarius. Yes, Aquarius. And the star card. So stay tuned for that. We have 2 left to do, and then we have completed the Zodiac series. So Aquarius and Pisces will be after that. All right, everyone, have a Merry Solstice 93.